In terms of equity, what I've found is that equitable decisions are made when the table is big. This is a really small table to make equitable decisions, and I hope you pause, increase the table, get more people at the table, and listen to the communities that you're hurting.
Great.
It was a packed house and more waiting. The JCPS Board of Education now pushing back a vote on their new transportation plan. Why? Some say more time is needed to make the best decision for the district. And a lot of people wondering about the safety of our own bridges here after the collapse that happened in Baltimore yesterday. What Kentucky officials are saying about the chances of that happening in our area, especially after that semi was dangling off the Clark Memorial Bridge here in Louisville. And new this morning, the legal counsel for the suspect in the Delphi murders now turning to crowdsourcing. Why they say that is needed to have a fair trial.
Now, Wade News Sunrise.
Good Wednesday morning to you. I'm Shannon Kogan with meteorologist Tawana Andrew, who just made herself a hot cup of tea this morning. You need that this morning to warm up.
Can I tell you something?
What?
It's coffee.
Oh, she doesn't drink coffee. So I need to strap in for what's to come in about 30 minutes.
Let's just say I'm going to be very hyper the next 30 minutes. But yeah, I did not get enough sleep last night. So for those of you heading out this morning, maybe you want to read a book for a really long time like I did yesterday. Hey, today's some great weather to do that. What we're seeing right now, temperatures in the 30s and the low 40s, 36 degrees right now in Corydon, 35 in Fort Knox, 43 in Frankfort, 40 right now for those of you closer to the airport in Louisville. So we are cooling down now that we're seeing clear skies, especially right along the Ohio. And for those of you further to the south, the clouds are moving back into portions of southern Indiana with another cold front that's pushing in there. But here's the thing. With these clouds this morning, yes, we're going to be on the chilly side, but we'll see much more sunshine this afternoon. But we have a northerly flow, and that means we're not warming up a whole lot, only talking about highs in the 50s for today. And while the weather is overall pretty pleasant, the fact that we'll be sneezing a lot is not, because we have, of course, all of this tree pollen that's going to be in the air with not a lot of rain in the forecast over the next couple of days to help to clear that out of the atmosphere. So pollen counts will remain high all the way through the end of the week, and even in the portions of the weekend, by the way. Tree pollen is our main issue right now, but even the grasses and some weeds still will be around as the week goes along. Olivia?
Oh, I hate that, Tawana.
I know, I'm sorry.
I just hate it. But hey, you know what I love? A perfectly green traffic map here. No crashes, no stalled vehicles out there this morning. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of your drive times here. Dixie Highway to 64 is going to take you about 7 minutes. 65 to Dixie Highway, 4 minutes, and 9 minutes to get from 65 to Dixie Highway. So looking pretty good there. Shannon?
Thanks, Olivia.
What if the district votes to end transportation to 16,000 magnet students and then later finds out you didn't need to make that drastic of a cut? If you make the change that you are considering making, there, as some of the speaker said, there really won't be any going back without the benefit of technology.
It is going to be now an even longer wait until we know the plan JCPS will take to try to avoid a repeat of that transportation disaster from last fall. It comes after a damning audit exposed multiple failures leading up to that transportation mess. The JCPS school board was expected to vote on a plan that would remove transportation for magnet and traditional school students, but in the end, they decided to put that vote off until the April 16th meeting. But this is what happened. Before board members were able to discuss the vote, the company behind that 248-page audit, Prismatic, addressed the board. The founder went into detail about what the report highlighted, including not only what went wrong on the first day of school, but everything leading up to it. The audit highlighted problems that included an inadequate timeline, few progress updates, and a plan with lots of problems that was submitted to the district, including lengthy routes, and some schools left off of the busing schedule entirely. She made it clear the vote on transportation did not need to happen now, but not every board member agreed.
Will you have enough time to route for the beginning of the 2024 school year in order to ensure no...
I'll defer that to our Director of Transportation.
We're already behind 3 weeks, so the more you...
We're setting up the district for a repeat at the beginning of the 24 school year by not making this decision.
The district points to its daily routes exceeding the number of daily drivers available as a primary, if not maybe only reason why it's asking to end magnet transportation. Yet, in your 13 February board meeting, the district reported some success with the hiring blitz on 10 February. So my question would be, how many of those turned into drivers who are working for the district right now? How many are likely to turn into drivers for 24-25? But does it cut the number from 65 drivers short on a daily basis to 30? And if it does, how many more blitzes would be needed to eliminate the driver shortage? And if you address the driver shortage, do you still need to end magnet transportation? That's a question.
That school board member, James Craig, pointed out students have lost 8 million minutes of instructional time. Now, despite his protest and no vote, the rest of the board agreed to table the discussion. There's another phase of the audit, too, that's going to come out sometime around June. So the company that created this school year's JCPS bus routes is responding to the audit's finding, and no huge surprise, they say a lot of the results are inaccurate. Alpha Route says the audit lacks important details and misses many facts about their communication with the district. Alpha Route claims the majority of the issues in the audit were the result of direct guidance or approvals from JCPS staff or timelines. This board meeting brought out a lot of frustrated parents and students. A big crowd gathered outside of Van Hoos Education Center before that meeting, protesting that proposal that would end busing for traditional and magnet schools. The meeting room hit maximum capacity within minutes, so a lot of people had to wait outside. But they say hopefully their message came across.
The school board and the community know that with no bus, there is no us. And so we are here today to make sure that our voices are heard. I am uncertain of the method by which they continue to have decisions made without the voice of the students and their families.
A motion was made at last night's meeting to keep busing at Central. No word on if that'll be added to the plan when they meet again on April 16th. Now, we spoke to a parent who supports the plan to cut bus routes to traditional and magnet programs. Trina Marie's children are car riders, but she says JCPS bus issues affect everyone. And when they moved to those staggered start times to fix the busing issues, it forced her family to change their schedules. But she says this proposal makes the most sense for the district's budget and also the current bus driver shortage.
The priority should be the buses getting the kids that live in the neighborhood to the school that need to get there before it's shipping and busing somebody from 45 minutes away. If they have to do the budget cuts and cut the buses somewhere because of them being so short-staffed, I think cutting the buses to magnet programs makes the most sense.
District leaders had previously said cutting routes would significantly reduce lost instructional time and allow flexibility, too, in balancing the start times. Depend on Wave News to stay on top of this very important issue for so many families in our community. Follow along with any changes made by downloading our free Wave News app. That way you get alerts right to your phone. Louisville's mayor says the city and LMPD are making progress on a consent decree with the U.S. Department of Justice. The consent decree is a plan to reform the police department after the DOJ released a report last year that says LMPD broke the Constitution and federal laws by violating the civil rights of people in Louisville. The report lists several incidents of excessive force, improper restraining techniques, and racial biases. The mayor says the community can have a part in the negotiations at an upcoming meeting next month, and they want to get feedback from people in Louisville. That meeting will happen April 8th. It's at the Republic Bank Foundation YMCA on West Broadway. It'll start at 6 p.m. Negotiations on the reform contract have been ongoing since February. The Coast Guard now says it's moving to a recovery operation as officials don't think the victims missing after that massive bridge collapse in Baltimore could have survived that. Today, state and federal dive teams will begin underwater mapping the area around the bridge. 6 people are missing and now presumed dead. 8 people were on the bridge when it fell. 2 were rescued. 1 was taken to the hospital and has now been discharged. They're still trying to figure out exactly what caused that cargo ship to crash into the bridge. The American Pilots Association says the ship lost total power before the crash.
anything that may have occurred prior to this, any sort of safety history with respect to the vessel, any sort of maintenance that was done to a vessel or the vessel or component on the ship. We will look at all of that.
Maryland's governor says a Mayday call from the ship helped prevent any more drivers from being on the bridge at the time of the crash. The National Transportation Safety Board members are expected to board the ship today. And a prayer vigil was held for the victims last night. Community leaders and members gathered to honor those construction workers who were on the bridge at the time they were fixing potholes when it collapsed. The vigil also honored first responders who worked throughout those overnight hours and the day searching for them. So this incident, of course, in Baltimore, it has many people here questioning the safety of bridges in our areas. We know there have been some close calls along the Ohio, including barges that have gotten loose, and questions about the safety of the bridges, too. Jimmy Higdon is the chairman of the Kentucky Senate Transportation Committee. He said the Baltimore incident was tragic. And so many of us remember this from just a few weeks ago when there was a crash that sent a semi just dangling over the Clark Memorial Bridge. Fortunately, that semi driver was rescued. He says anytime you have ships going under bridges, though, this could happen. He says lawmakers have specifically allocated money in the state budget to make sure lights on bridges are properly working and other preventative maintenance.
Thinking about, how could this have been prevented? What can we do in the future with future bridge projects to make them safer?
So we have had some incidents in Kentucky like that. In 2012, a ship carrying rocket parts from the Decatur, Alabama area to Cape Canaveral, Florida, hit the Egners Ferry Bridge connecting Marshall and Trigg counties. That caused a 322-foot section to collapse into Kentucky Lake, but there were no injuries. Kentucky school districts could soon use armed guards to patrol their schools. Senate Bill 2 would let districts hire former law enforcement officers and veterans who would work as school resource officers. The bill would also establish a new school mapping tool that would be given to law enforcement. Supporters say this would allow for a quicker response time from police during an emergency. The bill also includes mental health segments. It would increase suicide prevention awareness and training, too, for teachers and students and expand the scope of student support. Right now, the bill is up for committee discussion in the House. And another bill gaining traction in Frankfort, House Bill 695. This would create a new kindergarten readiness pilot program. The bill's sponsor, Representative Kevin Jackson, says more than half of Kentucky's students are not prepared for kindergarten. The bill would create a new online program to address the issue. It is still in the Senate right now. It did have its second reading yesterday. Here's meteorologist Tawana Andrews. So how much are we going to warm up today?
We're going to be talking 50s for highs. It includes in the Iroquois neighborhoods. Looking at your forecast a little bit more specifically, sitting in the 30s right now, you're going to end up in those mid-50s for highs later on today. Everybody going to be in the 50s with plenty of sunshine in today's forecast. Now, as you look ahead, we do have some rain for the holiday weekend. I'll break down those chances after the break.
Things are in full swing here at Wild Lights at the Louisville Zoo. Coming up here after the break, I'll show you some of the fun interactive stuff you can do with the whole family.
This newscast is sponsored by Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. Now, Wave News.
Good morning. It's 6:15 right now, and one of spring's coolest activities is now again at the Louisville Zoo. I'm talking about Wild Lights, and it's bigger than ever. Josh Schinke is there at the zoo this morning showing us some of these amazing displays.
Shannon, one of the best parts about this place is you can see a lot of these things, but you can also interact with a few of these. I've got Susan joining us to tell us a little bit more about this. She's with the company that made all of this happen. So this is one of the interactive sections. What all can we do here in this area?
Okay, so I think I mentioned, I accidentally mentioned in the last part. Okay, Josh, would you like to try a bit?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see like a handle.
Right here.
Just try to rotate the handle. And
cool. Look at the dragon go. That's awesome.
Yeah, so actually you're making the dragon dance. Yeah,
I imagine the kids love this.
Yeah, I assume so. And also, like, you can see It's very clear downside because we really want the visitors to see how the magic happen, how we make it work, all the like mechanical designing. So I think it's a very nice touch.
That's so cool. And of course the swings, a classic that they're always here. But there's also a new game this time around that you designed. This is so cool. So what
don't make me wrong. I didn't design the lantern.
But you designed the concept for the game, right? So
kind of, yes.
We hit some buttons right here, primes up, and then we're racing, right?
Yes, we will be.
Is this something that kids really enjoy as well?
I think so, even though I don't have kids, but I believe they're going to be like amazed by all the like very cute designs and also what they can do.
And here we go. So we just mash these as fast as we can.
So I'm the blue light strip and you're the red one. I need to tap faster.
Don't just let me win here. A good way to get some energy out for the little kids as they're walking around here. There's also bubbles that are just here as well. This is one of the most fun parts of this entire exhibit here.
Yeah, I can see you're almost there. You're reaching the finish line.
And hey, there we go. That's so cool. So a lot of fun interactive stuff that you can check out through this entire thing. So is this one of your favorite sections to come check out?
Yeah, for sure. Like, it's so fun to just interact with those lanterns. I think, Yeah,
that's so cool. So this is always going on through May 19th. If you want to come check this out, get your tickets online, LouisvilleZoo.org. We'll have all that information for you at wave3.com, and we'll show you even more in the next half hour. Live here at the Louisville Zoo, Josh Ninke, Wave News.
Well done, Josh. Well done. That looks like a lot of fun, doesn't it?
It really does. And for anybody heading out there later on this week or even into the weekend, hey, the weather is going to be behaving itself mostly. This weekend is when things can get a little bit iffy out there. What we're seeing right now across the area, cold front exiting our region, but another one moving in. So we're really just stuck in between these two fronts right now. We did have quite a few clouds overhead with the first front, and now another batch of clouds are moving in with the second one. The storm tracker out on the roads right now, and hey, thankfully the weather is not going to impact your commute, but overall it is going to impact you in terms of the chilly temperatures that we are seeing behind these fronts. Right now it's 36 degrees in Madison, 35 for those of you in Fort Knox, 32 in Litchfield, 37 in Munfordville, Shelbyville, and in LaGrange, 40 at the airport in Louisville. Our futurecast shows more of these clouds moving in as the morning goes along, but as we get towards lunch, they start to break apart. And with some afternoon sunshine, we're going to do our best to warm up. But here's the thing, the sun is going to have to battle that northerly wind, and that is why we're only talking about highs in the 50s for this afternoon. We'll see a few clouds drifting overhead for tonight, but not enough to stop the cool down that is on the way. With mainly clear skies and light winds, we're going to fall down into the 20s and low 30s for tomorrow morning. So yes, another situation where we're going to need the coats and jackets. Let's look at the rest of your 10-day. For tomorrow, it's all about the sunshine with highs in the upper 50s and the low 60s. Then we head into Friday, adding in a couple more clouds, highs near 70. Getting into the weekend, some scattered showers and thunderstorms showing up warmer with some 70s coming our way. And we'll have to keep an eye on that storm system responsible for the weekend rain. So we'll have this warm front basically sitting over us for Easter Sunday. And as it sits over us, we'll keep some of these scattered showers and thunderstorms in the forecast, but they'll be just that, scattered. Yes, we have the rain chances for the weekend. No, it's not looking like a washout. Even Monday with the warm front over us, not looking like a washout. However, we will watch that warm front sitting to our north on Monday. That is why we're talking 70s for highs then. This area of low pressure and the cold front push towards us Tuesday, not only bringing some widespread rain into the forecast, but the chance for some strong storms. So that's a trend we'll have to watch closely. All of this moves out by Wednesday, allowing us to enjoy a little bit of a break from the active weather for the end of next week as we watch highs going from the 50s next Wednesday into the 60s by next Friday. So a little bit of a temperature roller coaster over the next 10 days, but the main thing, we'll be watching those weekend rain chances very closely.
Here's a look at the current Kentucky Lottery jackpots.
Easter is this Sunday. Have you purchased anything yet for that Easter basket? Well, consumer spending is expected to top $22 billion. Retail Federation, people celebrating Easter are predicted to spend an average of $177. That's a nice Easter basket, right? Food, the highest spending category, followed by clothing, then gifts. Now, cocoa prices are at an all-time high right now. They surged to that Tuesday, so if you are buying some chocolate Easter bunnies, they might be a little more expensive this year. You know, I learned yesterday that you are not a Peeps fan. I loved Peeps, especially after they got a little bit stale. And they were hard.
You are not making me want to eat them right now.
Oh, yeah. You open up the package, you leave it open for a couple days.
Is this like a Twinkie situation? Like that? When people do it with that?
Do people eat stale Twinkies? I didn't know that. Okay.
Well, apparently we're all learning something new today. But yeah, for anybody maybe eating the Peeps or the chocolate this weekend, keep in mind that we have warmer weather in the forecast, so maybe leaving them outside may not be the best idea because they could get a little bit melty unless you like it that way. What we're seeing right now, though, of course, those chilly temperatures getting into the 50s for highs this afternoon, some low 60s tomorrow, near 70 on Friday. Then we get into the weekend talking about more of those 70s showing up in the forecast as we have to deal with some of these scattered showers and thunderstorms coming our way for Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Then more widespread rain and a better chance of some thunderstorms come Tuesday. So we'll keep an eye on that Tuesday trend closely. The rest of next week trending drier with a whole lot more of that sunshine.
Thanks, Tawana. Starting this weekend, you can enjoy Udell Gardens and all the beautiful flowers that they have. They're opening up for this season on Saturday. Getting into the spring spirit, you can enjoy the start of the blooming season as thousands of flowers start to open for the big bloom. They have nearly 19,000 different flowers there, flowers from daffodils to tulips. For more information, just go to udellgardens.org. Gorgeous. 6:27, and after months of debate about what to do with the busing issue at JCPS, they met last night. The outcome of that meeting, including some passionate reactions. It's all coming up on Wave News Sunrise.
Now, Wave News Sunrise.
Oh, we want to share this with you. Look at how gorgeous. This was from last night, the sunset. That is just perfect. A huge thanks to Rebecca from Elizabethtown for sending this to us, making our morning pretty. Are we going to have a pretty sunrise today?
Yes, we are. We have the perfect level of clouds for today, and as we head over the next hour, going to see that first light, and I think it's going to be gorgeous.
Oh, good.
It is going to be a beautiful start to the day, but also a chilly start to the day. Right now, of course, still dark and early, and hey, that's the moon in the top corner of your screen there. So a beautiful start with some clouds overhead, yes, but we're also going to look at plenty of sunshine across the area. What we're dealing with right now, temperature-wise, sitting in the 30s and low 40s across most of our region. 36 in Carrollton, 35 into Frankfort, 39 right now in Bedford. Now, as the day goes along, easily climbing into the mid to upper 50s for your highs. Much more sunshine for the second half of the day. And hey, we don't have to deal with the crazy wind today. So that's some good news. And hey, the weather here is great, but if you're going to be traveling for spring break, Orlando looking pretty good today. Over the next couple of days, they do have to keep an eye on some storms around for today. So that's something you'll watch if you're heading that way. Destin looking pretty good as well, and maybe you're heading over to Myrtle Beach. I'm going to slide this way so you can actually see my face. You're going to be seeing some more of those 60s and a couple of chances for rain today, but drier as we head towards the weekend. So your spring break forecast for a lot of places looking pretty good, but dare I say, as we head into the weekend here, things are going to be looking pretty good for a staycation, Olivia.
Staycation. Hey, that's not a bad option there. But hey, taking a look at some of our speeds this morning, everything seems to be moving just fine along with the speed limit here. 65 at the Snyder, 64 at Oxmoor, and 64 in West Louisville. All looking good this morning. Not too many cars out there, but taking a look at our traffic map, looks like we have a stalled vehicle on 65 northbound near Crittenden. Have the shoulder blocked there. So other than that, everything looking just fine. Shannon.
Thanks, Olivia. An anticipated vote turned into no vote at all after an external audit exposed failures leading to that transportation debacle at the start of the school school year, JCPS decided to delay their vote on whether to end busing for traditional and magnet schools. But people packed into the Van Hoos Education Center last night to listen and plead with the school board not to pass the plan. That audit highlighted problems, including an inadequate timeline, few progress updates, and a plan with a lot of problems submitted to the district. A lot of concerned citizens were there, spoke at that meeting last night. One man said transportation for JCPS schools should not be eliminated and discussed what the effects could be if that happened.
This eliminates educational opportunities and decreases educational equities for all students, because these students and families will be forced to make other choices based on transportation. This solution may help reduce some of the district's transportation issues in the short term, but over time it will cause larger problems throughout the system.
So they decided to put the discussion off until the April 16th meeting, and then another phase of that audit will come out sometime around June. The NAACP says the district needs to come up with a different busing plan. The organization hosted a protest before the meeting. They say the current transportation plan isn't good, but cutting routes to traditional and magnet schools would disproportionately hurt minority students.
That is a concern that folks should have. We don't want kids being late. We don't want kids out at all times of night getting dressed at home or on their arrival home. However, I can't imagine that anybody would say, let's trade one inequitable situation for another. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
The NAACP says the district needs to listen to parents, teachers, and students before making any decision. And Wave News is staying on top of this JCPS transportation situation. You can follow along with any changes made to proposals and when a vote happens by downloading our free Wave News app that sends alerts right to your phone. A new turn now in the Delphi murders case. Funding for the suspect's trial is now being crowdsourced online. The law office of David Hennessy, an Indianapolis lawyer assisting Richard Allen's attorneys, has created an online fundraiser for Allen. So far, the fundraiser has reached over $10,000. According to the page, those funds will be used to pay expert fees and related costs. LMPD is trying to put a stop to gun violence in Louisville by strengthening their relationship with the community. The department hosted a community event at the Kroger on West Broadway last night. Officers say they want to establish a connection with children. They say an early impression can have an impact for the rest of their lives.
When you start early with the kids at a young age, you can help them develop, because you can have those communications all through as they grow up. We get into the schools a lot with some of our school programs that some of our officers go and they teach in the schools. They teach about the violence. They teach about what to do.
The department says it has more events like this planned throughout the year. Kentucky lawmakers are close to voting on a final two-year budget. A free conference committee released their report Tuesday morning. The budget includes a 3% increase the first year and a 6% increase the second year in the classroom funding model, also called SEEK. School districts would have direct control of what to do with that extra money. Governor Beshear's budget proposal called for an 11% raise for all school workers. The report also includes money for mental health and substance abuse treatment and more waivers to fund them. Lawmakers are considering a bill that would create a new standalone government corporation to handle almost all of Kentucky's gambling and horse racing. The bill would set up the Kentucky Horse Racing and Gaming Corporation to regulate wagering. This would replace the existing Kentucky Horse Racing Commission and the Department of Charitable Gaming. Both are currently under the umbrella of the Public Protection Cabinet. The Senate committee considered and approved this bill, so now it heads to a House committee. No timeline, though, on when it will come to the floors of the chambers for a vote. Here is Tawana right now, taking a look at the next 12 hours.
And over the next 12, we're going to be keeping an eye on the sunshine, but not too closely, of course, using those sunglasses for today with highs in the 50s. Looking ahead, warmer weather and then some wet weather coming our way. I'll break down the rain chances for this upcoming weekend after the break.
Ah, yes. Wildlight's now back at the Louisville Zoo. Beautiful handmade lanterns that are all lit up. They're so pretty. Josh Ninke has been out there this morning taking a look, and a lot of them are interactive too, which is so fun for kids.
It really is, Shannon. Folks can come out and really get up close and personal with this very, very cool stuff. I've got Susan with the company who made all these beautiful lanterns, and Kyle with the Louisville Zoo joining me. So, Kyle, for folks who want to come out and check this out, we've seen a lot, but there's still so much more to see.
There's so much more to see. Around every corner, there's something to see, and they're all so beautiful and so detailed. Tianyu's done such beautiful work with the details of these. When you're walking around the zoo, look at the animals' eyes. They're just stunning. And there's a photo op around every corner, like I say. And we round it out with, performances every night on the MetaZoo stage, and we've got some limited time menu items from SSA. So just kind of round it out, and it's a great way to learn about Asian culture and a culture that's different from our own, and this beautiful art form. And I think it's just, again, the detail is what strikes me the most about it, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful time. 60 displays, 50,000 light bulbs.
That's so much.
It's gorgeous.
That's awesome. And Susan, a lot of these have stories that go along with them. You want to tell us a story about this one right behind us, right?
Yeah, sure. Let's just step closer if that works.
Sure.
Yeah, so we have four Chinese mythical creatures here, which are called Jilin. So they have the dragon-like head and also a horse or deer-like body. It's basically a blend of many auspicious animals in Chinese culture. Yeah. And so usually Jilin are associated with a harbinger of good, positive energy, and also guardian for some sacred places. So the reason why I want to step closer is mainly because the material for those pieces are different.
Oh, okay.
So they are made of very small bottles filled with colorful liquids. So it's the only one lantern groups we have this year that uses this kind of special material.
So
it's
cool.
more than the culture, and is also about the special of this art form.
Yeah. So again, you got to come out and check this out for yourself. This is running all the way through May 19th. We'll have more information on how to get those tickets for you at wave3.com. So live here at the Louisville Zoo, Josh Ninke, Wave News.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Josh. Okay, breaking right now on Sunrise. One ticket matched all the winning numbers in last night's $1 billion Mega Millions drawing. Wow. Okay, Olivia, where was that ticket purchased?
Well, Shannon, here you go. It was sold in New Jersey, so no luck here for Kentucky players unless you took a trip to New Jersey and bought that ticket. So the winning numbers are there on your screen on the left. They were 7, 11, 22, 29, 38, and the gold mega ball was 4. So that $1.13 billion jackpot is the 5th largest prize in the lottery's history. Hey, it could have been one lucky winner or a bunch of coworkers who bought one ticket, and they're going to share that now. But they can either receive that amount in the annual payments or a one-time lump sum estimated at $537.5 million. Still a good amount there. 13 players across the country matched all 5 white balls for the $1 million prize, including at least one person in Indiana. So, hey, there's a chance for one local person. Tuesday night's win was the first time the Mega Millions jackpot was won since December 8th. And now we'll take a look here that Mega Millions jackpot goes back down to $20 million. Still a good amount for me. And all eyes are on the Powerball. So tonight's drawing is worth $865 million. So pretty incredible stuff there. Shannon, maybe we'll have to go in and split a ticket with a bunch of coworkers or a bunch of tickets.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it. All right, thank you. Mayor Craig Greenberg honored that JCPS bus driver who went viral for his generous act of kindness. During his weekly press conference yesterday, the mayor gave an award to Larry Farish Jr. I love this story. It spread across the country in February. So this is what happened. He's a bus driver, and he saw a tearful JCPS student who was really sad. So he said, "Hey, what's up?" He said, "I don't have any pajamas for pajama day." So what did he do? He went out and bought him pajamas. While accepting the Distinguished Citizen Award, he highlighted bus drivers, which he says are often unseen.
Definitely an honor on behalf of myself, JCPS, and other bus drivers across the nation. We thank you for the recognition. A lot of times it's hard that we are unseen, even though we drive a big yellow bus. We are unseen at times, but this recognition is a small gesture that really blew up, and I just want to say thank you.
Oh, I love that. So after that story was posted, other people jumped in and shared their own stories about what a great guy he is. But just look at that child's face.
The smile.
Yes, the smile. What a difference. What a difference he made. So he got to participate in Pajama Day.
I love that. It's the little things like that that make a really big impact. So thank you to that bus driver and all the bus drivers that we have in the area. And thankfully, those bus drivers today are not battling any wind in the forecast.
Yeah,
so that's some good news. I'll let you know about the calmer weather we have for the rest of the week in just 30 seconds. Good morning, meteorologist Tawana Andrew here with a check of your forecast and what we have going on. We have multiple fronts pushing into and away from our area. So we did have a cold front that moved through overnight and early this morning. That is well to our east now. And now another front, it's making its way into wave country, basically settling in right along the Ohio River right now with some clouds behind it. But we're still looking at what will be a beautiful sunrise for many of us. So yes, we are seeing more of those clouds for those of you mainly in southern Indiana. The storm tracker out on the roads right now can't really see the clouds from the angle where he is, but certainly seeing traffic picking up quite a bit now that we're getting closer to 7 o'clock time frame. Here's some good news, though. You don't have to deal with any rain or any crazy wind for today's commutes at all. So some good news. We are starting off chilly, though, so you'll need to grab that jacket, a coat maybe this morning, as we're seeing temperatures in the 30s and 40s. Our cold spot still Litchfield, 32 degrees there, but 34 into Hardinsburg and Madison, seeing 43 though in Frankfort, 40 for those of you in Bardstown, and also at the airport in Louisville. As we continue over the next 12 hours, we're really going to get to enjoy quite a bit of that sunshine as temperatures climb into the 50s across our area. Those clouds that we're going to be dealing with for the morning will start to fade out once we get into the afternoon, and that sunshine will help with the warming trend of getting us into the 50s. Once we head into tonight, mainly clear skies and light winds are in the forecast. So that means it's going to be very easy for our temperatures to drop, and that is why we're looking at lows for tomorrow morning in the 20s and the low 30s. So a bit cool for today and then chilly once we head into tonight. Here is your full 10-day, and hey, things not looking too shabby at all. We'll see highs in those upper 50s and low 60s for tomorrow with plenty of sunshine. By your Friday, adding back in some clouds, highs in their 70, and yep, those rain chances around for portions of the weekend. We'll watch for some more of those rain chances around for Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and into Tuesday. And here's the reason why. We have this massive system that's going to be traveling across the country, and this warm front is going to be basically setting up shop over the weekend. That is what brings some of these scattered showers and thunderstorms into the forecast for Saturday and for Easter Sunday, but neither of those days are looking like a washout. You just want to make sure that you are weather aware for those days. Then we head into Monday. That rain starts to push further to the north with the warm front, but here comes a cold front and this low, bringing not just widespread rain into the forecast, but the potential for some strong thunderstorms too. That's a trend we'll have to continue to keep an eye on. By Wednesday, a lot drier across the region. Next Wednesday, we'll see highs back down into the 50s, and it won't take us long to warm up at all. By the end of next week, we'll see those 60s for highs yet again. So a little bit of a roller coaster temperature-wise over the next 10 days.
Thanks, Tawana. You can get a preview of the floats in this year's Derby Festival Pegasus Parade before they roll down Broadway. The Kentucky Derby Fest bringing back their touring parade routes. There are loops through several local parks, including Chickasaw, Shawnee, Iroquois, the waterfront. It's the 4th year that they're taking the parade on the road. So that touring parade will happen on Saturday, April 6th, and then you can watch the full parade Sunday, April 28th. Right here on Wave News. Now here's Olivia taking a look at the big stories we're following from around the country and the world.
And Shannon, today marks 1 year since 6 people died in a school shooting at a Nashville school. A former student broke into the Covenant School, killing 3 9-year-old students, the head of school, a custodian, and a substitute teacher. To honor their memories, about 13,000 people are expected to form a 4-mile human chain beginning at the Children's Hospital where some of the victims were taken after the shooting. It will lead to the state capitol. And tonight, a big drawing for the Powerball. There was no grand prize winner in the Powerball drawing on Monday night. night. It's now estimated to be up to $865 million. The winner would have the option of receiving the $865 million in annual payments or a lump sum payment of $416.1 million, both before taxes. This comes after just one lucky ticket sold in New Jersey last night during their Mega Millions drawing worth more than $1 billion. And ahead this morning on Today, the Paris Olympics are just a few months away and the city is getting ready. Security teams are getting ready to keep athletes, spectators, and residents there all safe. That's all coming up next on Today. Those are some of your top headlines. Shannon will have more local news coming up in your Wake Up Watch list.
Taking a look at your Wake Up Watch list today, it's going to be an even longer wait now until we find out the plan JCPS will take to try to avoid a repeat of that transportation nightmare last fall. Last night, the JCPS school board was expected to vote on a plan that would remove transportation for magnet and traditional school students, but before members were able to discuss the vote, the company who was in charge of that 248-page external audit, Prismatic, addressed the board. In the end, school board members decided to put off that vote until their April 16th meeting. It is now a recovery instead of a rescue mission in Baltimore after a ship hit that bridge and it collapsed into the river below. 6 construction workers are suspected to be dead, but now officials are looking at the safety of bridges in our areas. There have been close calls, we know, along the Ohio, including barges that have gotten loose. Jimmy Higdon, the chairman of the Kentucky Senate Transportation Committee, says lawmakers have specifically allocated money in the state budget for preventative maintenance. Meanwhile, the Coast Guard says it is moving to that recovery operation in Baltimore. Here is meteorologist Tawana Andrew. Chilly start, just 40 degrees right now in our area.
Yeah, we're seeing some places a little bit colder than that and watching some clouds overhead right now, mainly in southern Indiana. So we'll keep an eye on the clouds as we deal with temperatures in the 30s and 40s to kick off the day. Grab those jackets. Keeping an eye on what's going on. This is actually 64. You can see some of that sunlight now coming up over the horizon. A beautiful start to the day. As we head over the next 12 hours, we'll get more of that blue sky and sunshine for everyone as we climb into the 50s for your highs. Looking ahead to the next 10 days, we do have some gorgeous weather for the rest of the work week, and then we'll have to keep an eye on some scattered showers and thunderstorms over the Easter weekend. But our main rain chance as we head into next week is looking to be next Tuesday, so keep that in mind if you're planning ahead.
Hey, looks like we have one stalled vehicle out there. This is on 65 northbound, causing just a little bit of a slowdown there on 65. But we'll go ahead and show you some of your drive times on 65 from the Waterson to the junction. It'll take you about 10 minutes. That's where it's most slow. And then everything else looking just fine. How about Southwest Louisville? Dixie Highway, all looking pretty good there. So really no major slowdowns except for on 65 northbound there near Crittenden.
Okay. Tawana, how you feeling right now after that coffee?
Very jittery, so I'm going to need to sit down for a while.
She never drinks it, and so when she does, I know she's really tired.
I am wired right now.
You know the problem when coffee doesn't do anything to you, and that's kind of where I am right now, so I wish I was like that.
Because you just drink it all day long.
Yeah, I'm trying not to shake.
Thanks so much for waking up with us. Today's show up next, and we hope to see you tomorrow.
Get live streaming news, 24-hour weather, investigations, podcasts, and more. All for free with Wave Now. Watch on Roku, Amazon Fire app.